I'm Warner Moore. I'm the founder of and CEO of Gamma Force. Today, we're meeting with Steve Vandenberg, the VP of Information Security and Technology Operations at Enlace Health. And he's going to share some of his experience working with us here at Gamma Force. We've been working at Enlace Health multiple years, where we first helped with their cybersecurity strategy. Later, we helped with their execution through third-party vendor risk management and helping preparedness for their high trust audit. Steve, can you share anything more about your role, yourself, your background, organization, or anything more you'd like to share with us?
Yeah. Well, first off, thank you, Warner. Not only for the work of your company, but for the time today to connect. I think you hit on the role in the company well. I'd say the role and the significance of security and an area that your team has greatly assisted is really emphasized at Enlace Health due to the nature of our business, being health-centric, being a company developing solutions and services to really drive value-based care. And now with even more focus in the specialty area. During the time at Enlace Health, a large focus has been on maturing and adding capabilities to our security program. And Gamma Force has helped us, I'd say, from two ways there, both for guiding the direction and what type of capabilities that are needed or should be prioritized. And then also in certain situations like that third-party risk management, actually helping to fill the capability gap that may exist or enhance certain capabilities.
Yeah, and health tech, security and privacy especially is often non-negotiable with HIPAA. And I don't know about you, but I've yet to meet a CISO or security leader who has enough folks on their team, companies big and small. We had been working with Enlace Health before you joined the company as their security leader. How did we help you in your role as you are successful in the company?
I think the presence of Gamma Force really accelerated my ability to get eyes and ears on different parts of the company, get a sense for the maturity of certain parts of the organization, be it application security, third-party security, and it allowed me to more quickly execute on that strategic vision, having that kind of partnership and the knowledge that you and your team were able to gain before I started, what was tremendously valuable. And it's part of the reason, as that role, the knowledge-based and strategic leader that you were filling previously, it was in that role that I think really helped, you help us by identifying some of those capabilities where Gamma Force would fit in best. And the flexibility of Gamma Force combined with the experience and people really made the difference from my perspective in wanting to extend our relationship together as we look to satisfy things like high trust, as well as just, again, add capabilities and maturity to the security program.
I love that, Steve. One of our company values is we put people first, and that's true of our team, and that's true of our clients. And the nice part of working with us is we have no ego, and if you win, we win, and that's how we look at it. No company politics here.
And one other thing I would say is, I've had experience dealing with, co-source or outsource or different partner relationships. And I think one area that, Gamma Force has exceeded what I'd say is the norm is when bringing additional skill sets and people on the team to bear. When I've dealt with that in other situations, sometimes you're getting hit with a lot of like questions or knowledge that maybe the partner had, but a person, a new person that the partner doesn't have. And so there's a lack of efficiency initially when onboarding, and that can lead to maybe some less effective work. I haven't found that the case with Gamma Force, and I think that credit lies with yourself, and then some of your key people like Zach on your team.
I appreciate that, Steve. If there's one thing back when I was working as a CISO in companies, I didn't really like hiring service providers for some of the reasons you mentioned. And when I talk with folks, I often say we operate more like a tech company than a professional services company. And that's very true. And there are rare cases when someone can get an instant multidisciplinary security organization without going through all the time, effort, money of building it oneself. And there's no right or wrong answer, and everyone's needs are different. So our mindset is just figure out how we can add value and focus there. Can we talk a bit about how we work together? I think you've started on that subject some. Can you talk about the types of team members who have worked with you and what capacities and how?
Yeah, wow. There's been a lot, and I think that's part of why our partnership has gone, as long as it has, is because the flexibility and skill set that your team possesses. So I think there's been everything from kind of strategic level work of guiding the program, somewhere between execution and assistance of core security processes and related artifacts. So things like risk assessments, um, processing and assessing, I would say both general risk assessments, all the way to the ones kind of required as part of HIPAA, to risk assessments maybe specific to a potentially new vendor or partner that we have. And those can take a lot of forms. I've seen companies that will go and rubber stamp vendors that come through, and there's just so much risk. You continue to see a supply chain risk out there. So the approach that we wanted to take was one that we have a careful vetting process, but it's also one that's efficient, that we're not duplicating work that's maybe available or information available through other means. And Gamma Force definitely helped with that. You also have, with those type of assessments, sometimes there's high time pressure with those, because as much as through communication, other means, you'd like to get out in front and get information that, hey, a new partner or vendor might be coming down the road. It's not always the case, and sometimes that's someone doesn't raise that. Other times it's because the nature of a health tech, and especially in our position, is still kind of in a startup mode. Things can change rapidly. So having kind of our internal capabilities then supplemented by Gamma Force has led us to the point where we haven't gotten the leadership, why is security holding this up? Why is it's enabled us to meet and exceed the time expectations for reviewing and approving a vendor without sacrificing quality.
That's great. I'm glad to hear it. It's so important, at least the way I look at it, to empower our colleagues in the business. And one of the pain points often in our profession is uh, security organizations slowing our colleagues down. And certainly we want to help our organization stay safe, but if we're looked at as obstructing the organization, that's not the way to win. Can you talk more about the impact we've had in your organization through your experience working with us?
I mean, if I'd say the biggest impact on the company and is twofold. One, enabling success with our high trust engagements. That is a table stakes with any of our clients, with any revenue generation. We just wrapped up a high trust submission recently with your team's help, and we had clients chomping at the bit saying, "Hey, your high trust is ready." So that is for current clients, for going, about a month ago, I'm filling out forms for a prospect. It's a top of mind question. It is a barrier between our company and revenue generation. And on the other side, I'd go back to Log4j, and the assistance of your team. We like many people were impacted by Log4j, and your team was there, and again, a different role fulfilling. Zach specifically, working late into the night to help test fixes. We're making changes to our firewalls, based on, hey, here's a new way that Log4j is getting exploited or obfuscated. The JNDI lookups, obfuscated a new way, and trying to test blocking there. And then also patching that we ended up doing, and trying to, again, Zach specifically, trying to exploit Log4j. So not only, hey, we patched, we're good, but your team helped to supplement and kind of red team the patches, to make sure that we weren't exposed anymore to the vulnerability once we patched. So both from revenue generation side all the way to the other side of revenue protection, incident response, your team's been able to really make an impact at Enlace Health.
Yeah, and that's a really good example of how we look at things. Even though we lead with strategy, it's really about figuring out what needs to be done, and doing it the most effective way, be it with our team members or your team members, and often a combination of the two. It's really just about getting stuff done. And it's awesome, the intersection of security strategy, governance, risk compliance, and leadership, combined with, well, engineers, folks who can get stuff done. Really a magic formula in my book, but I like hanging out with smart folks, and that's a good excuse to do so. Well, Steve, is there anything else you'd like to share about yourself, your company, or your experience working with us in closing?
I would just mention, two other people that we've worked with a good bit, being Virgil and Nate, and both, I think one other benefit is I think there's a wide range of talent, and there's not necessarily here's a set skill set for someone at Gamma Force. It's just to your point of kind of best and brightest. Let's pull in, knowledgeable, hardworking folks, and bring them in and have them work with the clients. And I think Nate and Virgil and Zach all have brought different things, but they've all made very good impact at Enlace. So just definitely a fan of the folks that you've been able to bring into your team, help us out.
Well, thanks for that, Steve. We really do look at people as our competitive advantage in any company, right? What is it? A bunch of people working together towards a mission in the end. And our mission to enable cybersecurity to be more strategic and drive value to the business, it all comes down to people. We're grateful to be working with you, Steve. Thanks so much for taking time with us today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you, Warner.